For months, an entitled HOA board member named Karen Whitmore treated my carefully restored corner lot lawn like her private racetrack. Every single morning at exactly 7:47 a.m., her white BMW X5 would roar around the bend, tires chewing deep ruts through my premium Kentucky bluegrass, ripping irrigation lines, leaving behind the stench of diesel and shredded dreams. I had spent thousands turning that patch of earth into a peaceful sanctuary for my wife, Sarah, who was battling early-stage Parkinson's. The gentle hiss of sprinklers and the scent of fresh soil were our small daily comforts in retirement. Polite conversations failed. Signs were torn down. Police called it a civil matter. Threats were met with smirks and reminders that her husband Derek owned half the neighborhood through his construction company. I'm Marcus Thompson, a 52-year-old retired union electrician with 30 years of experience installing permanent, code-compliant infrastructure that survives hurricanes, floods, and time itself. I know exactly how deep foundations need to go, how rebar should be spaced, and how concrete sets under pressure. Karen didn't know any of that. She only knew entitlement. After failed attempts at courtesy, motion-activated floodlights that blinded her windshield, backup cameras that caught her midnight vandalism in infrared detail, official private property signs, she escalated. So did I. A professional survey revealed the truth her husband had buried in corrected paperwork. She wasn't just crossing my lawn. She was driving over nearly 20 feet of land that legally belonged to Maine. Her decorative stone retaining wall, 4.5 feet onto my property. And it wasn't just me. 6 other families had quietly lost slivers of their yards over 4 years, all funneled into the Whitmore's empire through fraudulent boundary adjustments, greased municipal approvals, and selective code enforcement. I didn't yell. I didn't sue right away. I planned. With the same precision I once used to wire emergency systems in hospitals, I calculated load paths, impact angles, vehicle momentum at 25 miles per hour, and center of gravity shifts. Then I ordered one single decorative concrete bollard, 42 inches tall, 8 inches in diameter, reinforced with a full-height rebar cage, poured with 4,000 psi quickset concrete into a 5-foot deep foundation that extended below the frost line. It met every municipal landscaping standard, required no permit for residential decorative use, and sat exactly 8 inches inside my newly confirmed property line, right where her passenger side will always tract. To the casual eye, it looked like a tasteful garden accent with a small bronze plaque, Maple Grove Memorial Garden, established 2024. To physics, in a habitually speeding BMW, it was an immovable object waiting for an irresistible force. The morning she returned from vacation, I stood at my kitchen window with coffee in hand. The familiar engine revved. Tires bit pavement. She came in hot, following the exact shortcut she'd carved for 3 months. The impact was textbook. A metallic screech, explosive tire pop, crumpling fender, hissing radiator steam, rising like smoke from a defeated dragon. Her $80,000 SUV became very expensive modern art in under 2 seconds. No booby trap. No trap at all. Just private property, proper boundaries, and the laws of momentum. She screamed, called the police, demanded I be arrested for vehicular assault. The officer measured, reviewed the survey, listened to her claim that she didn't need permission after months of use, and calmly explained criminal trespassing. No charges against me. Full liability on her. That was only the beginning. Desperate, she tried to hire an excavator to accidentally destroy the bollard under the guise of fake emergency utility work. I'd already confirmed with every utility company. No permits, no crews, no leaks. When the bucket touched concrete, police arrived mid-scene. The operator, facing his own charges, played back her $10,000 cash offer to make it look like an accident. Handcuffs clicked. Fraud, conspiracy, impersonating utility authority, bribery attempts, all on audio and video. The story snowballed. Security footage, neighbor testimonies, FOIA requests, and one very thorough insurance investigator peeled back layers of corruption. Altered surveys signed by Derek, code officers trading favors of the country club, dozens of weaponized complaints against anyone who dared question the Whitmores. The FBI stepped in. Federal fraud charges followed. Karen pleaded guilty. 18 months in prison, 3 years probation, $53,000 in restitution. Derek lost his license and got 3 years for contractor fraud. Their McMansion sold far below market. The investigation uncovered a multi-county land theft network worth over $2 million. But the real win wasn't their downfall. It was what came after. I put the entire $38,000 settlement into a neighborhood justice fund that helps residents fight contractor scams, boundary disputes, and municipal overreach. Mrs. Patterson, the 78-year-old record keeper who first documented Karen's reign, became our volunteer coordinator. We helped the Martinezes recover from a roofing fraud, blocked a developer from taking playground land, and supported elderly neighbors targeted by predators. Sarah's symptoms stabilized once the stress lifted. She planted an herb garden right beside the bollard, where rosemary and thyme now grow in peace. The bollard itself became a quiet landmark. Flowers around its base, kids playing nearby, electrical apprentices brought by contractors to see what happens when technical knowledge meets moral backbone. Tony's hardware store turned into an unofficial community hub for property rights workshops. The Garcia family opened a cafe with their settlement money. Neighbors who barely spoke before now barbecue together. Every morning I walk out with coffee, look at that unmovable piece of concrete decorated with Sarah's blooms, and remember, sometimes the best revenge isn't loud or petty. It's patient, precise, permanent, and built on solid ground. If someone ever tries to take what's yours, measure twice, document everything, know your lines, and never be afraid to pour a foundation that lasts. What's your worst neighbor or HOA story? Drop it in the comments. I read them all. And if this kind of justice hits the spot, subscribe for more tales of regular people standing their ground against bullies who think the rules don't apply to them. Because sometimes the sweetest victory is the one that simply refuses to move.